Gimel. So we're saying on the first day of Yom Tif, you need lochem. So if you don't actually own the daled minim, you're not yotzei. If you borrow it, or he says, if let's say it's isurei hano, right? You made a neder, you're not going to benefit from the person. First day you take it, you're not going to be yotzei because you're not able to acquire it. The second day where you don't have to own it, and since mitzvah is lava lechenes nidnu, since the mitzvah is not considered benefit, see the first day we have to financially own it, so you're not able to own it because acquiring it that's benefit, that's material benefit. But the second day that you don't have to own it, so what is the benefit? The benefit is mitzvah. Mitzvah is not considered benefit. That's mitzvah's love the honest nidnu. Okay? Chen shel irin das. This is the Mishnah. Mishnah beginning lulav goes on. You have the lulav was part of the assets of an irin dachas. That's where the majority of the community worshipped idolatry. Where the Torah says the people have to be, the idolaters have to be killed by the sword, and all the possessions of the city have to be burnt. Okay, have to be burnt. Shel Asherah, Asherah tree. This palm tree was worshipped. Shel Yisrael. Now it's interesting. Shel Yisrael. It's Asherah which is Machlokes Rabbeinu Tamatosis in Lulav Agozl. Now, Aval Shel Avarus Kochovim L'Chatchilo Yito. But if it's the palm branch belonging to a goy and it was worshipped, you should not take it. Vim notal yotzo yom rishon ve'elech lo bin lochem. Okay, let me give you a background on this. Those who learned Avodah Zarah here know the Gemara says that if a Jew, let's say a non-Jew, worships an idol, and the Jew purchases the idol from the goy, and when he purchased it, the goy did not negate it. He still valued it as his deity, and the Jew acquires it. Even if he should sell it back to the goy, that item can never be relieved of its idolatrous status. Has to be destroyed. No Jew can ever benefit from it. Whatever a goy says, he worships an idol, he says, you know something? This idol's obsolete. Hasn't worked for me for the past month. I'm going somewhere else. And he negates it. So he doesn't value it as a deity any longer. And then he sells it to a Jew. So it's not, the Jew's permitted to benefit from it. That's called bittul avodah zarah. The non-Jew negated it. But if the Jew acquires it before he negates it, then even though the guy afterwards says it's nothing, it's meaningless, it doesn't make a difference. Once it enters the domain of the Jew as a avodah zarah, it's forever avodah zarah. No Jew can ever benefit from that. So that's what we're speaking about over here. If he took the idol of the goy, it's avodah zarah shel akum, belongs to the goy. Now the second day Yom Tif, you could be yotze with a shula, with a borrowed lulav. That means when the Jew takes it from the goy, he was worshiping as his, right? Whenever the Pope comes, he slaps the Pope across the face with this branch, this palm branch. That's how he worships it. You know, Christianity with it. Okay. That's why he's a felon. He was arrested. Okay? It's supposed to be a joke. Okay. So the halach is you could be yotze with that palm branch, even though he still worships that palm branch. Why? Because since the second day you could be yotze with shol, the Jew doesn't have to acquire it. So he's being yotze with what? With a palm branch, which is idolatrous, belonging to the guy. But you're benefiting. You're not benefiting. It's just love the honest do. Because it's a mitzvah, you're not benefiting. Is it a proper way to do a mitzvah? The answer is no. I mean, the thing is an abomination. But if you have no choice, if you did take it, yotze. The first day Sukkos, you can't be yotze because you have to acquire it. The moment he acquires it, it's the end of the story, right? Because that's Yisur Hano. No, Shel Asherah Shel Yisrael Posel. First two cases. Always. That's always. No. The first two cases, it's Posel always. First day, any other day. Aval Hashavos Kochovim. But if it's the lulav of a goy, wait, so since it could be negated, although it wasn't negated, l'chatchilo yito, it's preferable he should not take it. However, if not al, but if he did take it, miyom rishon ve'elech lo be'ina lochem, beyond the first day where you no longer need lochem, you no longer have to own it, you yotze, okay? Hago. Now this is very important. The guy says, let's say the Jew, the guy says it's okay. You want to acquire it, as long as you give it back to me. And the Jew takes it from the guy on the second day Yom Tov, and he acquires it. He thinks, Matom Nasarse, first day, second day, by him it's all the same. And the Jew takes possession of the lulav, then it's over. He cannot be Yotzei, because now it's become Avodah Zarah Shel Yisrael. Now it's the idolatry, because if the goy agreed to give it to the Jew, correct, and he says, do what you want, and if you want to acquire it, you acquire it, and his intent was to acquire it, the moment he acquires, now it's what? It's the idolatry belonging to a Jew. Now you can't be Yotzei any longer. Okay? Now it's the idolatry belonging to a Jew. You cannot be Yotzei. Okay, now, what are we speaking about where he had in mind to acquire it? Where the guy did not negate it yet. If the goy, if the non-Jew already negated, he negated the lulav, even if the Jew has in mind to acquire it, Yotzi b'di'evet, it's also b'di'evet. It's a b'di'evet, because since it's not appropriate. Since at one time it was used for idolatry, it's not appropriate to use it for a mitzvah. Ayin leil simin tovkov pevov. Since we had halacha, when we learned the laws of tashvish kedusha, what happens if you want to take, let's say you have a parochis, or you have the mantle, the Torah cover, and it becomes worn out, you want to use it for something else. You're not able to. Because it's what? It's intrinsically, it's kedusha. It has to be buried. What about a person had a pair of pants? Best quality wool, became a little shiny. Says, something, why throw it out? Make it into a Torah mantle. Right? What's the halacha? You're not permitted. It's inappropriate. What you wear is a pair of pants that you could use as a mantle. It's not appropriate. That's right. But it's malam b'kedusha. Right? You're advancing it. Before it was a pair of pants, now it's going to be a Torah mantle. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Right? So over here, even if the goy, the non-Jew, negated it, so you're permitted to benefit from it, and it's a permitted asset, but it's still inappropriate to use for a mitzvah. It's inappropriate. But the Eved, it's okay. You have no choice. But if you have a choice, definitely this is not the way to go. No, there it's a disgrace. There it's a disgrace. There it's not a question. No. It's a different. There it's not a question of being Yotzei. There's not a question of being Yotzei. Right? It's not a mitzvah. Is it appropriate? No, here, but it's the same idea. There was different. It's a good question. Good question. Because over there, the pants were klisharis. Right? It was the equivalent of a ministering vessel. It had kedusha. Right? So there, you use it for kedusha. It doesn't make a difference. No, it's not inappropriate. Not inappropriate, because initially the intention was that initially, if you designate only the Torah is permitted to be here, and you consciously, verbally designate it, then you can't put anything else there. But the bima, you put your sitter there. Right, because initially that is your intent. Your intent is. Same, it's not still, but still, because the bima is accommodating the whatever's holding the sitter. Still. See, this always comes up. You ever see, if you go to a yeshiva where things are a little crowded, the person takes his hat and jacket off, he puts it on the table, under the jacket, they're svarim. Is it appropriate? You put your hat on top of a sefer. It's not appropriate. People don't think. But what about you put it on, people put it on the bima. Right? It's not simple. It's not simple. Would I say it's optimum? It's not optimum to put there. Sit is one thing. Right? Person comes in. A person comes in with an umbrella. Could you imagine putting an umbrella on the bima? It's not appropriate to put an umbrella. No, you're permitted to lean on it. You could. It's because it's again, you're not supposed to lean when you get an aliyah. You ever see people, they get an aliyah, and they make themselves really comfortable. And they take their elbow, and they lean on the Eitz Chaim of the Sefer Torah. You ever see that? People really get themselves comfortable. It's totally, it's Nisa Doraisa. I mean, you're not permitted to lean on the Sefer Torah. You know, it's inappropriate. It's not respectful. Right? You hold it. There's even a question. There's a note of view that holds that because it's tashmisha kedusha, like you're not permitted to touch the parchment of Sefer Torah. The Gemara says. So since the kedusha of the Eitz Chaim is identical to the parchment, the note of view says you're not permitted to hold the Eitz Chaim. That when you hold Eitz Chaim, you should hold it with your talus. When you should hold it with your talus. It's interesting, you know, Iranian Jews. It's known. Many of them, it depends what city you come from, Iranians. If you come from, there's a city called Shiraz in Iran. No, he didn't come from Shiraz. Many came from Isfahan, came from somewhere else, a whole different province. Shiraz, the vast majority of Jews there, going back 2,000 years, always been observant. Always very observant. Tehran, past I don't know how many years, very secularized, became acculturated with the whole Persian culture. So, Sfardim, even though they're not Sfardim, they're considered the Eda Mizrach. When they get the Aliyah, they put their hand on the parchment, and they say, Rabbanan, Baruch Hashem Avorach. You know, these rabbis, you know, and they put the hand. But you're not permitted. So the right way to do is they have a cloth. You know, they have a cloth, and they put the cloth on top of the parchment, and they put the hand on top of the cloth. So they should not touch the parchment. But people who don't know, they brought up from the bar mitzvah, they're supposed to put their hand on the parchment. So they put it directly on the parchment. But it's not permitted. I just now in Israel, there was an Iranian came from wherever he came from, Mexico City. Knew very little. This person, he duchened with his shoes. He didn't take off his shoes for duchening. That's how ignorant he was. So I said to him, why don't you take off your shoes? That was a fancy pair of shoes. You know, he's about 25-year-old. You know, it looked like stiletto shoes, those kind of shoes. You know, so he didn't take his shoes off. I said, he says, tomorrow I'll take them off. He didn't know. He's not. So when he gets the Aliyah, I was there, puts his hand on they call him for Kohen. He was a Kohen. Put his hand on so I took the what's his name, the gartel. No, it wasn't the gartel, and I put the gartel on the parchment. I said, put your hand on this. That he shouldn't put his hand directly on the parchment. It's not appropriate. Okay. That's not the reason why we do it. I'll tell you, it's interesting. I had yahrzeit, so I was in Israel at the time, and they gave me an aliyah. It was in Rechavia, and the Balkore comes from Boston, a Yeki, giving you all the features. He was a Yeki, came from Boston, and Rabbi Yoshe Ber had certain very interesting things regarding Kriyas Torah, many things. He had his chumras. Rav Moshe disagreed. Rav Moshe did not disagreed. Like, for instance, he held that if you keep the Sefer Torah on the bimah, you have to stand. You're not permitted to sit, even when the Sefer Torah is lying on the bimah. And he's the one who instituted the boxes. You know, you have the boxes in the back. You put it in a box. He's the one. He's the origin of that. Okay? But Rav Moshe held no, that if it's on the bimah, that's called mekomo. That's its location. Therefore, you're permitted to sit. That's like the same thing. That is its location. Rav Moshe held you're permitted. He held it. So I had him after because I had yahrzeit coming up that week. So so you're supposed to read together, and they read out of a klaf at this location. So the person all of a sudden puts the klaf to the side. So, and his son is different than the father. His son is a Ben Torah, everything. He lives in Israel, originally Americans. So I said to him, well, what's this? There's a new custom. You read the Navi off to the side. He says he's not sure. So then afterwards I said, why decide? He's the type of person, he doesn't want to be asked and he doesn't want to be told. That's the nature of this person, of this yeki balkari. Okay? I'm not classifying all yekis with this kind of temperament. He's not the type, he wants to be told. He doesn't want his feathers to be ruffled. Like, balkari, that's where you want to do it. So afterwards I put it in the danim l'kavschus to see it in a positive light. Could be held, usually when you read the Haftorah, the one who had Hagbah has the Torah right behind you. So because your back is to the Torah, it's a disrespect. That's the reason why. So he goes off to the side, so therefore nobody's back is towards the Sefer Torah. That was my understanding why they do it. But it has nothing to do, it's the bima, whether it's this side of the bima or that side of the bima, it's all the same. It's all the same, it's on the bima. So if it would be because Malam Kedusha v'lo Moridin, you're not permitted to put something lesser Kedusha, so you couldn't put the Navi on the bima in either case. Right? So my understanding is because there's a sensitivity not to, like people walk away from the Aron Kodesh, very often they walk backwards. Right? They don't turn their back towards the Aron Kodesh. It's respect. It's an indication of respect. That's the way it's done. Very often you call a person Valiyah. What do you hold on to the Eitz Chaims? There's some people they don't even hold on to the Eitz Chaims. So usually you tell the person, hold on. Right? Because you're associated. When you eat food, right? You say a bracha. Let's say you drink a glass of water. The halacha is you're supposed to hold the glass. You don't say shakol, then you take the glass of water. You're supposed to hold the object or the item that you can eat or drink, has to be in your hand when you say the bracha. There has to be an association between the person and what you can eat. The same thing. If you said the bracha on the Torah, so there has to be some level of association with the Torah. Therefore, you hold on to either the Eitz Chaim or their custom is they put their hand on the cloth, on the parchment when they have during the Kriyas Torah, or at least when they say the bracha. For that reason. No. It's a chumrah. I'm just showing you to what degree. The Eitz Chaim is not the cloth. No, we don't. Mishna Berura brings it. Mishna Berura brings this position. The way we conduct ourselves is not this way. You're permitted. But the cloth, everybody agrees. The cloth, you don't touch the parchment. It's not. Aron Kodesh is closed is one thing. The Sefer Torah still extends beyond the box. So it's still, it's a sensitivity. It's a sensitivity. That's what it is. It's like, somebody says, he turned his back on me. I mean, on you, you're upset. When you turn your back on the Torah, there's no problem, But you're sensitive. He turned his back on you. Let's see, the Chovos Levavos. It's not brought anywhere in Sorim. But I'm saying it's not anywhere, not mentioned. Could be Sam's father was a Rav in Bayonne about 90 years ago. So it could be, and he had mafia type of balabatim in Bayonne, going back about 75, 80 years ago. So he had a, so they didn't mind. The same thing. Yeah, sure it did. Because again, because there's a question: why does the maftir receive the last? We reread the last. Why? Because otherwise you're equating the navi to the what? To the Torah itself. There's a whole history over here. Originally, they banned the Romans. They banned or they agreed we weren't permitted. So they what? But so we read the navi, not to forget that there is such a concept of reading scripture in public on Shabbos, and they would call 7 aliyahs from the. So once they read it, so even when the decree was annulled, and we read, they left it in place. So we're going to read the Haftorah. So that means you're already equating the Navi to the Torah, that you can't. So therefore you give them after, you give him an aliyah, he reads part of the Torah, otherwise it's a disrespect to the Torah. But there is a linkage. So because he had the aliyah, you don't put it back because it's a continuation of the aliyah. That's the understanding.
I once saw Sefer Torah where they had like a silk on the back of the entire cloth.